Today, we are going to discuss about the four castes system in Vedic philosophy, Vedic society, Vedic system, Chaturashram. The division of Indo-Aryan society into four castes is described in the Vedas. The caste system has served to promote the unity and solidarity of Hindu society and to remove the friction inevitable among men born with unequal and dissimilar propensities. People are having really the opposite idea about Vedic caste system because they only hear the only one line. They don't study properly. Some students asked me, Swamiji, do you believe that only Brahmin has the right to study Upanishad and Veda? I told, yes, strongly I believe. Then they asked, do you believe that only Brahmin has the right to worship, puja karna? सिर्फ ब्राह्मण का ही अधिकार है? मैं बोला, I strongly believe, Baba. Without Brahmin, nobody should try all those things. Please. Then people ask me, do you believe that without sannyas, moksha is not possible? I told yes, absolutely. Sannyas के सिवा मुक्ति नामुमकिन है. Without sannyasa, moksha is not possible. Okay, let me continue. Then I will explain. It has been the principal support of Hindu civilization up to the present time, sustaining it through many ordeals and dangers. For many thousand years, it has preserved the cohesion and vitality of over 200 million people. And the caste system in its peculiar form, many have originated in India, but its fundamental principles are universal. All human beings, according to the conception of Vedic seers, from the physical body of the Purusha. You know, in Purusha Suktam, it is there. Om Sahasrasirsa Purushaha Sahasraksho Sahasrapat Sabhumi Vishwato Bratva Atyattishtadashangulam. So the whole universe is nothing but the body of the cosmic personalities, Purusha. Here Purusha is not male body. Purusha means the cosmic being, the cosmic person. The spiritual man form, as it were, his head, the warriors, his arm, the merchants and traders, his thighs, and the laborers, his feet. It is written, ब्राह्मणोऽस्य मुखमासीत् बाहुराजन्यकृतः उरु तदस्य यद्वैश्यः पद्भ्यागुं शूद्रो अजायत चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः. Okay, I will not go further. So the thing is, it is written, so in a body, everything is inevitable. Please try to understand in the context and try to justify my answer to the questions asked by my students. I told, without having Brahmanahood, nobody is allowed to study Veda and Upanishads. Try to justify this answer in this way. So consider this is a body. Each and every parts in this body is same important to me. If you if you pull my ears and cut my finger, the same pain, because it belongs to the same body. Brahmana is the head, where brain and thinking process, everything happens. Okay, I will discuss further regarding this. So think in that way. In our Vedic system, everyone has the equal respect and position in the society. First thing. So a healthy coordination among these four classes of people sustains the strength and the well-being of the society. As a harmony among the four principal physical parts ensures the strength and well-being of a body. And now the thing is, the Indo-Aryan organized this natural division of men and delineated it by the caste system. It is a natural system. Brahmanatva, Kshatriyatva, Vaishvatya, Sudratva is natural. Veda has systemized it. Veda never proclaimed that Brahmana's son or daughter will be Brahmana. Never proclaimed. The same person, when he is calm and quiet in a pure sattva state, truthful, compassionate to all, That is the Brahmanatva on that time. The Brahmin were the custodians of learning and spiritual lore. The Kshatriyas were the kings and military protectors. The Vaishyas controlled the trade and economic life. And the Shudras supplied the manual labor. The four castes forming the important parts of society unified the ancient Hindus. All the castes were indispensable for the preservation of society, and their welfare and security were interdependent. No caste, however high or powerful, could prosper at the cost of another. The spiritual ideal in society can be successfully preserved only by a system of caste. Such was organized by the Hindus of the Vedic period. If you don't attain your Brahmanatva, how will you understand Upanishad? If you don't consist your Rajaguna enough, if you are not trained enough physically and mentally, how will you rule a country? How will you protect a country? ब्राह्मणत्व किसी बाप की अधिकार नहीं. Brahmanatva can be achieved. Vishwamitra was a king, Kshatriya. He did a lot of penance, became Rajarshi, a seer while a king. Then he left everything else and he transformed himself into Brahmarshi. That transformation is dharma. Transformation within is dharma. Brahmanatva should be achieved. Otherwise, Upanishads and Vedas will not go into you. In my mind, there is always kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsarya. I'm jealous, always consisting dushta buddhi, wicked intelligence, crooked mind. They are not Brahman. According to Bhagavad Gita, though it is much later than the Vedic period, defined as follows: the duties of the four castes, control of the mind, control of the senses, austerity, cleanliness, forbearance, and uprightness, as also knowledge, knowledge, realization, and faith. These are the duties of a Brahmin born of his own nature. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, in 41st sloka, it is told, ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय क्षत्रिय वीशाम शूद्राणं च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभाव प्रभवै गुणैः. So there afterwards it is written the qualities of Brahmana. Shamo damastapas shaucham kshantirarjavameva cha jnanam vijnanamastikhyam brahma karma svabhavajam. This is the quality of a Brahmin. Then heroism, high spirit, firmness, resourcefulness, uh, dauntlessness in battle, generosity, and sovereignty. These are the duties of Kshatriya born of his own nature. Shauryam tejo dhritir dakshyam yudhye chapyapalayanam दानम ईश्वर भावश्च क्षात्रम कर्म स्वभावजम. This is swabhavaja karma. Agriculture, cattle rearing and trade are the duties of the Vaishyas. And the duty, so Vaishya, what is written in Bhagavad Gita, कृषि गौरक्ष्य वाणिज्यम वैश्य कर्म स्वभावजम परिचर्यात्मकम कर्म. So Sudra's karma, परिचर्यात्मकम कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम. So duty of Sudra born out of his nature is action consisting of service. So from the social standpoint, the caste system admitted an inborn inequality between man and assigned to each duties appropriate to his own dharma or law of inner growth. But these duties, however unequal they might appear, did not stand in the path of any person's attainment of his ultimate spiritual goal. Every duty becomes scared when performed in the right spirit. A man attains high perfection by devotion to his own duty, by worshipping him or her. I don't know, because Bhagavan has no lingam, no gender. So by worshipping him or her, from whom all beings proceed, and by whom the whole universe is pervaded, by worshipping him or her, through the performance of duty does a man attain perfection. So I think all the listeners at least acknowledge my belief system and Vedic system, that without Brahmanatva, nobody has the right to study Vedas and Upanishads. And that Brahmanatva should be achieved. ऐसे नहीं कि भरद्वाज की बेटा भरद्वाज Brahman ki beta Brahman. No. By birth, he may be a Shudra. But by his karma, by his thinking, by his attitude, he or she can achieve Brahmanatva for studying Vedas and Upanishads. Better is one's own dharma, though imperfect, than the dharma of another well performed. Paradharma bhayavaha. Swadharme nidhanam श्रेयः. स्वधर्म थोड़ा सा पालन करने से त्रायते महतो भया. The fear factor goes. If I perform my own obligatory duties according to my mindset, what Guru told, according to my age, according to my society, everything. What my father and mother can do, as a student, I can't do so. And what my children do, that I can't. Na shobhate. He who does the duty ordained by his own nature incurs no sin. One ought not to give up the work to which one is born. O son of Kunti, though it has its imperfections, for all undertakings are beset with imperfections as fire with smoke. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, sloka number 45th to 48th. You will get this concept. So according to the Vedic theory of rebirth, a member of a lower caste, by faithfully discharging his own duties, I don't know how you are matching. You are listening Hindi song, filmy song, and listening to Upanishads. You are the genius. I am not. Even some hammer sound comes at the time of class. I can't bear it. Okay, continue. So, according to the Vedic theory of rebirth, a member of a lower caste, by faithfully discharging his own duties, will be born into a higher caste in his next life. If he so desires, the hierarchy of the caste system was determined by spiritual qualities such as renunciation, unselfishness, purity, dedication of life to the acquisition of spiritual knowledge, and the rendering of disinterested service to others. Those endowed with these virtues in their fullest measure belonged to the Brahmin caste. As the ancient Indo-Aryans valued spiritual wisdom more than earthly positions, the Brahmins occupied the highest place in Hindu society. And the Kshatriyas, the warriors and the king or the protectors, occupied the second place because they staked their lives in righteous war for the protection of the virtuous and the punishment of the wicked. Next, in the scale of spiritual qualities, stood the Vaishyas, businessmen, and the Shudras came last. But it must be understood that the four castes formed, as it were, the entire body of Hindu society. Therefore, there was no question of one caste being exploited by another. It was, on the contrary, the duty and privilege of a member of a higher caste to look to the welfare and interest of those belonging to a lower class or lower caste. Caste was determined by virtue, guna, and action, karma. So you just think, suppose if we consider Satya Yug as it was the Brahmin Yug, Rama Yuga as it was Kshatriya's Yuga, Bhagavan Sri Krishna's Yuga age was as Vaishya Yuga, and now Shudra Yuga, Chaturvarnamaya system, by which classification of guna and karma, virtue and action. Naturally, in ancient times, a man could be demoted to a lower caste if he failed in his duties or promoted to a higher caste if he qualified for it. This whole system was flexible, and Hindu society attained its highest peak of development and excellence when the Brahmins and Kshatriyas worked in harmony for the preservation of the Indo-Aryan spiritual ideal. Though the Brahmins were the natural custodians of the ideals, yet they needed the physical support of the warriors to protect society from powerful enemies within and without, inside and outside. Whenever Hindu society fell into a state of degeneration, the main cause was a lack of coordination between these two castes and their deviation from their respective duties. As the history of the world abundantly proves, power, when it is wielded too long, corrupts even men of discrimination and abilities. सन्यासी को भी बर्बाद कर दिया. The greater the power, the greater the corruption. Hindu society has been no exception to this rule. The Brahmins from time to time abused the power accorded them, and received their punishment as the hands of the Kshatriyas. In the Upanishads, we find Kshatriya kings sometimes becoming the teachers of the ancient Vedic wisdom. Thus, we read in the Chandogya Upanishad, it was the Kshatriyas who knew the secret of the five fires and taught it to the Brahmins. King Janaka of the Upanishads, Sri Krishna, the teacher of Bhagavad Gita, and Buddha all belong to the Kshatriya caste. Later on, when the Hindus greatly multiplied in number and other complexities arose, the caste system was no longer based upon the qualities of the individual but became hereditary. As India lost her political freedom and fell a victim to the tide of foreign influence, Hindu society became rigid, the castes inflexible. People belonging to a higher caste claimed privileges without deserving them and exploited the natural helplessness of the lower castes. This corruption infected society as a whole and brought about its general degradation. Instead of acting as a unifying force, the caste system now divided society into watertight compartments. Sorry to say. But stick it into that point. Without Brahminhood, we have no right to study Vedas and Upanishads.